Over the years, there has been an increase in LGBTQA+ characters in comic books. Indeed, the community has gotten better representation today than compared to yesterday, courtesy of amazing talents that not only emphasized the existence of these people, both in fiction and society as a whole, but also made their stories entertaining and awesome. However, the road to this inclusivity has been paved with difficulties. There have even been pioneering and influential diversity comics that have been forgotten through time. Today, we will be talking about one such comic, and specifically, one such character. X-O Manowar is a comic series that debuted in Valiant Comics in the 90s. It was created by Jim Shooter, an influential and controversial comic book writer and editor. X-O Manowar tells the story of a Visigoth warrior named Auric of Dacia, who was kidnapped by an alien race known as the Spiders. He escapes his captivity by stealing one of their high-tech battle armor known as Shanhara. Upon arriving back on Earth, a millennium has passed, and now Auric has to adapt to the new cold capitalistic world of the 90s. Although the story is pretty strange, you have to remember that during the Bronze Age of comics, any author worth his skill can make any story that is both bonkers and badass. This was an age where there were turtles who became bipedal mutated ninjas and assassins being sent to hell to become Satan's hitman. X-O Manowar was no exception. One thing that made this comic influential in comic book history is a supporting character named Ken Clarkson. Ken Clarkson is a shrewd businessman who assists Auric in his adventures, becoming Auric's sidekick. And fun fact, he is also a gay person, making him probably the very first gay sidekick in comic history. While there have been many gay and lesbian characters during that time, gay sidekicks were very rare and maybe even non-existent. This is due to a long controversy and the belief that stories with gay sidekicks contain abuse, assault, and grooming, which began with the book Seduction of the Innocent, and was further influenced by the comic Brat Pack. Another interesting note in this comic is the fact that Jim Sterling was himself a highly controversial individual during his time as a Marvel editor. A lot of people didn't like him because of his personality, and at that time he was a suspected homophobe, forbidding the creation of gay characters, and at one point even depicted gay people as rapists in a Hulk story. However, upon the creation of Valiant Comics, Sterling gave the protagonist Auric with a gay sidekick who was entertaining and lovable. The character of Ken Clarkson was a big success. People loved him. He was a shrewd, almost Machiavellian businessman, but he did have a heart. He was introduced as a spy for the Spider aliens, tasked to help them trick and capture Eric. But upon meeting Eric, Ken changed his mind and helped Eric defeat the Spider aliens. Eric and Ken's relationship throughout the comic was interestingly rocky. It was filled with betrayals, assassination plots, but ultimately reconciliation. During one comic, a villain actually got the upper hand on Auric. But lo and behold, it was Ken Clarkson who arrived to save him. It wouldn't be the last, and Ken would continue to risk his life for his Visigothic friend. Ken wasn't just a token gay character. Valiant Comics did well to write him as a badass sidekick. Besides helping Auric, Ken has proven himself to be able to handle his own against aliens, thugs, and supervillains. His cunning complemented Auric's strength, and together, they made a powerful team. Valiant Comics would be reborn as Valiant Entertainment, rebooting many of their characters. Sadly, Clarkson does not appear in the new series. That being said, it didn't matter. Even as Ken's story has come to an end, his and X-O Manowar's influence in comics lives on.